Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you listening to this presentation. My name is Victor, and I'm going to be your anchor for this training. So this is module 3, which is mobile and email marketing. So we've been going through quite a number of series in giving you heads up foundation on marketing, because if you need to do marketing, you need to understand the fundamentals so that when we start to use strategy, then it makes a whole lot of sense to you. Uh, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share to your friends. If you have any question, don't forget to comment in the comment section. Okay, so in module 3, we want to look at mobile and email marketing. Talk, calls, text, web, media, apps. You can all do all of this within your mobile apps or within your mobile devices. So what's mobile marketing? So any form of marketing distribution of content that gets to your mobile phone, right? This is to be BlackBerry, your Samsung, your iPhone, whatever type of phone you have. When marketing content, digital content is being sent to your phone for the purpose of creating a relationship to communicate a value, you call that mobile marketing. Now, what are some of the advantages of mobile marketing? Because in this digital marketing course, we've been looking at all the different approaches to marketing. We've looked at websites, we've looked at social media marketing, we're not looking at mobile marketing. We're going to be looking at pay-per-click, we'll be looking at other several ways that marketing can be done. So you need to understand the entire landscape so that when you start creating strategies, when you start creating your plans, then you can be able to create a calendar, you could use your budget, you could plan and achieve your results. So what are some of the advantages of mobile marketing when you compare it to others? You have visibility. Now, if you send somebody an email, some people check up their mails, let's say once a day or every other day or once in a week or on weekends or at night when they go to bed. But if you send a push notification or you have a mobile app that is geared towards marketing where you have push notification, or you send an SMS, all of that can be seen almost instantly. Now you can also personalize, you can target individuals, right? They're either using a particular browser or using a particular operating system. You can target iPhone users, you can target Android users and the rest. You could also segment. You could segment your prospect based on their interests, right? So you could do a lot of market segmentation. You could look at people based on their profession. You can look at people based on their likes. You can look at people based on the pages they visit. When we start talking about pay-per-click, you get to understand this better. So the beauty about mobile marketing is that you can actually have your market segments done and you target to only persons that you want to get to see your content. Reachability. Yes, you have a wide reach, right? I can tell you for sure that a lot of people really access their emails, but you have good percent of persons actually checking up on their mobile. We're going to see some of the statistics later on. Affordability, by far lower in cost than other channels. Depending on your country, you spend cents of dollars to actually send SMS. You send 1, 2, 3 units of naira to send a bulk SMS. You send some CDs. If you're in Ghana, depending on your country, some few rands to be able to send SMS compared to if you need to do, let's say, pay-per-click, or if you need to do other stuff. But one thing you need to understand is that when you're doing mobile marketing, you want to make sure that it's as targeted as possible, because it might look intrusive if those persons weren't looking up to your kind of content. So mobile marketing is a set of practice that enables organizations to communicate, engage in an attractive or interactive, relevant manner, right, through their mobile phones. So mobile has actually outgrown desktops. People at times for 2-3 days don't have access to their system, your laptops, their PCs, their desktops, but they have access to their mobile phones. And it's in their mobile phones, they're going to visit social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. It's still on their mobile phones. They are going to be able to read their emails. They will receive SMS. They'll reply to them and the rest. So mobile is the in thing. So you could decide to use location-based kind of marketing, search, banners, coupons, SMS or MMS, mobile apps, proximity. Proximity is very similar and synonymous to location-based marketing, where you're marketing to people in a particular location. Take for instance, if all of your content are geared towards a particular geographical location, for instance, buy iPhones in FCT Abuja, buy iPhone in Lagos, buy iPhone in Accra, Ghana, buy iPhones in maybe Pretoria, buy iPhone in whatever city, whatever. So you see that it will, users, when they are on the go, as they do those searches, you try to get some kind of targeted audience. These are some of the advantages of using the mobile marketing. And one thing you need to understand is that when you build your website, you want to make sure that your websites are responsive. So what do you call a responsive website? Most students, when they learn website design, they learn what difference between a responsive and a non-responsive website. So a responsive website is that website that adapts to your different screen sizes. It adapts to mobile, it adapts to desktop, it adapts to tablet. So if you visit a website and you need to scroll to the right to kind of see the content by your far right or your far left, then that website is not responsive. If you visit a website and you have to just scroll up to see the content, then that website is responsive because it's adapting to the screen size and it can show all of your content. So just with the tap of this button, you could see all of the rest content, or you see a kind of 2 or 3 bars there. When you tap on it, the menu drops down. That kind of website is a responsive website. And it's good for donations, for instance. You can have mobile apps or you could have mobile ads. Now, mobile design support. Now, you don't have a mobile optimized website. So you could comment in the comment section below. Tell me, do you have a mobile version of your website? Or do you have your website adapted for mobile? Or do you have a separate mobile website? Or do you have a responsive design? So let me know your approach towards how you go about making sure that people on mobile, they can have a very good experience. So in doing mobile marketing, we said you could opt for SMS, you could opt for creating a mobile app. You can also make sure that your website that you build is responsive. So let's talk about email marketing. So email marketing has to do with sending either transactional, commercial, infomercial kind of message to a group of people using email. So it's not a conventional having 1,000 persons and sending them individual emails one after the other. Or you take all of their emails and you say 2 and you dump their emails there and send to them. Everybody sees who else have been sent message. We're trying to use a software service to send message in bulk. So we're going to do this in our practical session, where we're going to be exploring all of the practical section of all the things we've been considering from day one. So we're going to use case studies like MailChimp and GetResponse. Any of these, or maybe SendGrid, any of these 2 tools, you can use them to send messages to people, either code list or current database. What do you call a code list? A code list might be persons that you have not sent message to before, persons that are new, or they might be used sending message to people in your current database. The idea about doing email marketing is that you want to send mail in a very easy way, in the sense that if you set up your email marketing system, people can sign up to your platform, and once you want to send one message, everybody that has signed up to that list can get the message. We're going to do all of these things practically, but you need to understand the concept of email marketing. It helps you build trust, gives you brand awareness. We're having a physical digital marketing class just a few hours ago, and I was explaining the concept of you having leads, having their email addresses. Imagine if you have built emails over a period of 3 months, 4 months, and assuming you have 5,000 emails, persons interested in your service or have showed interest, or you've given out something free. If you're signing them up to an email marketing platform like MailChimp or GetResponse or Aweber or Constant Contact or any of those providers, just one email you send can get to all of those 5,000 persons. If you're doing a promotional, you'll be able to convert between 4, 5 to 10% of those persons purchasing your product and service. So that's the beauty. So you won't have to be sending manual emails one after the other. So one thing you need to do, you need to understand about email marketing also is that you need to make sure that you create a nice design. In our practical guide, we're going to be demonstrating how you could use either of these providers to create a very nice email and to send to your users or to your prospects. You want to design it very well. You want to make sure it is HTML. HTML is hypertext markup language. If there are links, you want to make sure it's clean. You want to also make sure that you have a database that you've collected or you've allowed people to subscribe to your platform. You want to do some filtering. You want to make sure you verify either your domain or even the emails. There are email verification systems. Like I love using Zero Bounce. There are so many out there. Because once you get email, at times people are not going to give you the right emails. You want to make sure that you clean up that email, verify it before you now use the email marketing software. And once you are doing that, if you have too much of spam emails or emails that are not correct, then your providers might not be able to deliver your message properly and your domain can be blacklisted. So email marketing is very crucial, it's very important. You could start free. Most of the providers provide a free package for you. Most of the times between 2 to 10,000 emails can be sent free per month. So as you grow, as your list grow, you want to make sure now you now have to subscribe. Now, marketers normally say the money is in the list. Just like the example I gave earlier on. If you don't have prospects, if you don't have leads, if you don't have interested person, it's be difficult for you to sell almost instantly. But if you take your time to build your list, it makes it easier for you to sell. So the question is, why is email marketing going to continue to be important in e-commerce? So it's still a better method to sell. It's effective to reach mobile users because a good number of users on mobile, most of them have their emails attached to their mobile phone. Then some things you want to understand is deliverability. What's the rate at which emails that you send gets delivered? What do you call hard bounces? So you want to prevent this, right? So a situation whereby an email is not even existing, right? Or a situation whereby the domain does not exist. So this is what you call an email. An email is always something, name of a person, at a website's name, maybe .com or .net. Domain is that main URL that the email is opened on, right? So that's why verification comes very handy. You want to make sure that you verify those emails before you send them out. And of course, soft bounces refer to maybe you sent an email to somebody and the person's email box is filled up, like Google have 15 gig as for free Gmail. Some hosting service will give you maybe space, depending on what your service provider assigned to you. Maybe your IT team gave you 200 MB, 1 gig. If it's filled up, you're not able to receive emails again. That's referred to as soft bounce, or the server of the particular email is down, or the message is too large for the server to handle. So that's what you refer to as soft bounces. So there's some metrics you should be after. Open rate, you want a high open rate. You send 100 emails or to 100 people, you have 70, 80% open them, your open rate is actually high. Click-through rate. So when you send the email, they open it. What about the links that you have in the email? Are they opening it? Unsubscribe rates, you want to keep this very low. Who and who is unsubscribing to your newsletter system? And of course, we talked about hard bounces, which I explained here. Then sharing rate, how many of them are forwarding the email, or how many of them are sharing that particular email. So how the different digital marketing component strategies are connected, you need to understand this. I've always been mentioning the AIDA model at times, which represents the sales funnel. We've talked about website. We're talking about email marketing. We've talked about blogging. We're talking about social media also. We're going to talk about pay-per-click later on. We've talked about text messages. In the practical session, we're going to be letting you know different platforms you could use to send emails, or rather, you're going to use to send SMS, so that if you have 1,000 numbers, you could send bulk SMS to all of them. They all get the email, they all get the SMS. Reputation management. So all the things you're trying to do in marketing, you're trying to use as many components as possible to get people into your funnel so that they cannot make purchase at the end of the day. Always understand it's a process. At the end of this training, we're going to be talking about strategy. Strategy is how do you mix, how do you combine all of the components based on budget, based on goals, based on needs. And you now have a calendar. You put all of the things you're going to be doing in your calendar, then you start to implement. You rinse, you repeat, you rinse, you repeat. You see what works, you see what doesn't work, you take it away. What works, you improve it, you add more budget to that. And that is what market is all about. On what basis can you create effective pop-up email? We're going to be using, you could use MailChimp for this. We're also going to be using HubSuite in the practical session to demonstrate to you how you could create this kind of stuff. So, but the question is, what conditions are necessary for you to create a pop-up email subscribe button on your website? So it can be time-based. Most of the times, if you're using a free platform or a free content management system like WordPress, you could decide and say, okay, after 10 minutes, please pop up and ask people of their email. You could say, okay, based on if you're on the home page or if you're in a particular page, you could say, okay, if the person scroll down to the end, pop up. So most of these systems, especially HubSpot, gives you opportunity to be able to create such kind of thing. So see email marketing as a conversion tool, right? You want to use it to get people to your marketing platform so that you will not later convert that to sales. So there's actually a risk of converting the wrong people. So do not mis-sell. You might have a high risk. Improve conversion, not any purchase at all costs. Think long term. I normally tell students when you are doing your marketing planning, you want to always think long term. You want to follow the AIDA model. You want to make sure people have awareness. You want to walk them through the interest. Later on in this slide, I'm going to be explaining what kind of tool can you use along the different stages. What tools can you use to get prospect? What tools can you use to get awareness? What tools can you use to evaluate what you're doing? What tools can you use to make people make purchase? Which of these components can you use? How do you make sure that you create a referral marketing strategy? So there are different types of emails. It can be informational, it can be sales. For instance, if you purchase something on a website, it's transactional, right? It's just transactional. So it's triggered when somebody makes a purchase, he gets an email and is told, oh, that you made a purchase, or it can just be to send people information about something. Now, this is statistics. Think mobile. Always make sure that your website is mobile friendly. Just this morning, I checked our website, and statistics can never be false, right? And it still validates all of the things I'm seeing here. So you have more people checking via mobile compared to desktop, compared to tablets. More people are using Google as their search engine to search for items compared to Bing, compared to Yahoo, Yandex, DuckDuckGo, and Baidu. This is October 2022, very recent statistics. Then you have more people using Chrome, of course, because of the Android market. They're to Safari, to Edge, Firefox, Samsung Internet, and Opera. You have more people using Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, Huawei, Vivo. Now, if you combine Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, Huawei, most of these platforms on Android, so don't be surprised you have Apple 28%. If you combine these 28 and these, you have roughly 5 to this 17, this is 20 something, add to this, this is about 50. So this is about 50 just on Android platforms. So that supersedes Apple. Apple on its own as a device, more users. So you want to make sure that you do cross-browser testing, cross-platform testing for all of either your landing page or the website where you're taking people to. During this practical session, after we're done with this content, we're also going to be looking at how do you set up a very small blog, how do you create a landing page. So that's some of the things you want to do after you have understood the fundamentals of marketing. So for email commerce, you're trying to say, I want to sell via email. I want to increase sales via email marketing. You could send newsletters to people. You could tell them about new products. You could do real-time delivery tracking. You could send them promos, vouchers. You could send them special offers. There are quite a number of email marketing software providers. So for our practical session, we're going to be using just HubSpot, MailChimp, and maybe GetResponse or SendGrid. So I'll be creating tutorials separately for HubSpot, what you can do with HubSpot as a digital marketer, what you can do with MailChimp as a digital marketer, what you can do with GetResponse or SendGrid as a marketer. How do you create an email list? How do you do email marketing? How do you track how many persons have opened? How do you track how many those emails that have delivered? How do you track the ones that have bounced back? And how do you optimize that? How do you remove the emails that have not been delivered? Features of email marketing. Now, the thing is, why shouldn't I just take the emails, go to compose if I'm using Gmail or a corporate email, and say to, I put the email there, I put the title, and I put my message and I send. Why do I have to use a software to send emails? So the beauty about using email marketing software is that they give you flexible pricing. So you actually pay for the kind of the amount of emails that you're able to sell. You could actually optimize the email for mobile. You could design for mobile and design for desktop. It gives you some analytics. It could tell you how many people open the email. It could tell you how many people open the links inside your email. The platforms can tell you how many of those emails even delivered, how many bounced back. So you have a lot of metrics that you cannot get when you use regular email, Gmail or Yahoo or your corporate email to send emails. So that's the reason why digital marketers will always want to use email marketing platforms like all of these ones you're seeing here. So you can also have third-party integration. You could integrate Zapier, you could integrate Amazon services, you could integrate WordPress, you could integrate Twitter, you could integrate Facebook, you can even integrate all of these platforms and say, anytime I send an email, please send it to my Facebook page. Anytime I send an email, send it to my Twitter account. You could do all of those third-party integration. You can automate your marketing. That's to say, all the emails you are going to send to the persons you have on your list for the next 2 months, you can all schedule them. Gmail is not going to provide that for you. Your corporate email address is not going to provide that for you, right? So you could schedule email for instance, New Year, festive periods, at midnight, the email, while you're still sleeping, the email is delivered at 6 a.m. if you schedule. Just like SMS, mobile marketing, you can also do those scheduling. In the practical session, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can do most of these things using those platforms. Survey management. You can actually conduct surveys to all of those persons you have on your list, and they could fill those surveys and you can see the results. You could use it to also test for spam. you could see message limits depending on the plan that you have. So there are some important metrics you need to be aware of when you're doing email marketing. Open rates, very explanatory. You want to get this slide I'm using, I will provide a description in the video. You just fill the form and I will get the PDF of this slide delivered to you so that you can study and understand this concept. Because having good foundation will help you do marketing better. Open rates, so how many persons opened it? Unsubscribe rate, how many people unsubscribe? Conversion, depending on what your value is. Click-through rate. For instance, when you say conversion rate, if I spend $1,000 in my marketing campaign and everything, how much profit do I make? What is my return on investment for sending that particular blast? Click-through rates are what's the percentage of persons that actually clicked on the links you have either within the email or on the link. Complaint rate, how many people said they don't want to receive again? How many emails bounced back? Now, this is now you. What is your entire campaign plan? Did you meet those targets? Then list growth rates. What's the rate at which people are subscribing to that newsletter? You could have a chart that goes like this up or down. So to tell you today, 2 people subscribe, 5 people subscribe, 10 people subscribe, 1 person subscribe, 20 people subscribe. It gives you a chart and you can see how your list is growing. Today you have 5 persons registered, subscribed to your newsletter. Tomorrow 10. It gives you an idea of how well you're doing. Click-through rates, just number of clicks, number of emails sent times 100. So you want to know how many people actually open those emails. So some of the tips for you to increase your email click-through rates, you have them listed there quite much, 16 of them. Use images, send emails at the right time, use personalization. I'll tell you how to do personalization. Personalization has to do with you. For instance, when people are signing up to your newsletter, most of the time they will say their name and their email. Let me see if I can get a awesome. So here you will not be able to do personalization because you just collected their emails. If you collected their name and their email, in personalization, you're trying to say, hello, Victor. Thank you for still staying tuned to our content. Today, we're going to look at how to do ABC. Click on this link to read up all the content on the website. So it's personalized. You're saying, hello, Victor. So because you already have the details of the person's name and the person's email, so you could do personalization, right? Okay, so AIDA for sales promotion. So you see me keep repeating AIDA, 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 AIDA. That is the heart of marketing. If you want to be a strategist, if you want to do marketing very well, understand the concept of AIDA and how you can use all of the components to drive that. How do you create awareness? Write articles, do adverts, create webinars, create podcasts, do paid search. Like what I'm doing right now, making this video for you, is simply awareness. If you subscribe into any of my plans or any of my newsletter, any of my email campaigns, or check out any of my web content, that will make you have more interest. If I send you maybe a free book or enroll you for a free course, that will want to make you have some kind of desire. If I tell you, okay, I have some offers and I have premium content and the rest, or case studies of persons that I've helped and how they've succeeded. Of course, we have several students that we've helped in all of the programs that we run. If I share some of those testimonials to you, you will now want to take action. So this is like the customer's journey. So you need to think about marketing with respect to how you go through, how the client goes through the AIDA model. For emails, you want to be straight to the point. You want to be fun. You want to create interest. You want to be very personal. And you always want to have a CTA, a call to action. Don't forget, you don't have all the time. Call to action is going to mean subscribe, like, share, fill this form, purchase now, do this, do that. So you have a lot of, you could check out and read up about call to actions depending on the niche. So you have top 50 call to actions. Maybe I'll record a video on just call to actions and how you can implement it for different niches. If you want me to do this kind of recording subsequently, comment in the comment section. There are some do's and don'ts about email marketing. Don't spam. Don't even buy a list, right? You go buy a list of 1,000 emails, these, except you want to buy the list, clean the list, send an open-ended email, then you allow them to subscribe to a more targeted list. So even if you have an email, you want to make sure that it's clean. Don't forget to clean it up. Remove contacts that have unsubscribed. Don't keep sending to people that have unsubscribed already. So there are 8 strategies on how to build an email list, right? Insert an exit intent pop-up form on your home page. If somebody exits, do a pop-up and let the person fill his email to get maybe more information from you. Have a page where you have name and email where people can subscribe. Create a customized CTA, taking people to go fill up to get into your email list. Create a squeeze page or like a landing page, offering something when people give you their name and email. Leverage referral and loyalty programs. Tell satisfied people to tell other people about your products and services. Get their name and email and their interest, then send them messages, right? And so many other strategies, right? Like I said, I'll provide details for you to fill the form and you get this content. You have to be intentional about creating your list. You also have to be intentional to make sure that you nurture these people, because marketing is about communicating value, creating relationship for the sole purpose of selling something at a later date, right? So we're going to be designing emails. We'll do that in a practical session. Like I said earlier on, never buy a list. If you have to buy, make sure that you clean it up, right? I'll talk about A and B testing later on. Very critical, very important. You want to send, you want to have 2 variations of something and see how best they convert, right? It's a nice way to actually test what works and what doesn't work. And don't forget, don't spam. Don't spam. Okay, that's all for email marketing. At the other side of the training session, we're going to be doing all of these things hands-on. In the next section, I'm going to be looking at pay-per-click advertising. What are the different platforms? What should be your approach? And how can you get started?